It's very amazing how that the seasons I was years ago, the ideas I had, the energy that I could give to execute what I wanted to do is not necessarily there now. Things are changing, and it is best to realize that the ideas, the energy you have now might not be there tomorrow, which is why it is best to maximize seasons. And I mean, I'm just remembering now about how that my friends, the group of people I had at the time, and the things we could do, the outings we could go for, the retreat we could have, just spending time doing mind blowing things. We don't have that time now, and that's because seasons have changed. Some of my friends are not in the same country as I am, and those who are even in the same country as I am now were hours apart. What am I saying is that time is changing, things are shifting. You will not always have the energy, you will not always have the idea. Your mind will not always operate with the clarity at every season, which is why there's the urgency to act now. Someone said ideas will not always come. So just do with what you have now. As soon as you have an idea dropping in your heart, in your mind, get to it. Make sure you execute it. The thing about ideas is that they come at a certain time. And if you're someone who's blessed with, an open mind, you have eyes that can see beyond the present horizon, there's a tendency for you to throw those ideas away and feel like you always come, or there's a tomorrow that you can execute these ideas. But guess what? Your mind at the moment will not always have the clarity, will not always have the drive to execute ideas as it comes. And this is why, say for instance, when you're in your early 20s, you had some sort of energy. There was this speculation you could give to things and execute it. But you find out that as the more you're growing older, your energy sort of diminishes. Physical energy now. Sometimes even with your mind, you might not have the energy to execute ideas. You might not have that drive to execute. And this is because when you have ideas over time and you don't execute it, there's a pile up, right, in your memory, and it makes you very lackadaisical to want to execute because you feel like, oh, I've had this idea. I probably did nothing with it. So let's just see. Let's wait for the right time. Guess what? There's never a right time. The right time is now. If you don't do what you need to do as at when you can do it, and now, even without getting all the resources you need, you find out because you've not honored those ideas as they come, they keep slipping off of you. And the danger of that is that you miss opportunities, you miss time. And it is crucial that you give your energy, you give your time to pushing on ideas, especially when you're young. Make sure you get all the resources, get thinking, get the ideas straight up, and push yourself to do it even when you cannot. Motivate yourself, encourage yourself, see beyond the now, see the results. In fact, the result of the big picture you have in mind would drive you into doing all that you need to do to make sure that idea becomes a fruition you can execute with so much precision, even when you don't have your thoughts together, when you don't have it all together. It is very essential to maximize seasons because procrastination, someone said, procrastination is the arrogant assumption that God will give you time to do tomorrow what has given you an opportunity to do today. A very striking thought there. So the more we keep procrastinating ideas, the more you dishonor that principle and the more it leaves you, because when you don't act on ideas, when you don't do what you ought to do as and when you should do them, they just slide past you and someone else might hold a grasp of it. And this is why many a times you see people doing thoughts that you've had in your mind at some point, but because you never had the drive to execute it, now you have to be the audience of your thoughts. You have to speculate and see people, bring to life what has always been in your mind. Do you have an idea? Do you have a thought? Make sure you take action today because you will never have the time. You will never even have the resources and the opportunity you need to work with such precision to give that thought or that idea all it takes. And I'm not talking about big seasons like your marriage, being single, career, as the case may be. But I'm talking about those little fragmented window of time when ideas come to life, when you get an inspiration to do something. Make sure you give it your best because you never can tell. It could be the best big thing. Do not despise your ideas because they will never always come. I hope you act on these thoughts and do with it as you please.